Hello, everyone. Hi, it's great to be here. Wow, it's great to be here too. Kim Wallace.
Hey,
Hey. Lil Vader.
Hey guys.
You guys were all on a cover story for a game. What is that game, guys?
Magic Legends. I thought we were all gonna say it
I
together.
did too, but then when you started
Yeah.
talking and Dan didn't, I thought, oh, I'll just give Leo his time
Yeah,
to shine.
you had to pick a side.
Yeah. And that's what we're looking at right here. So
Yes.
Walk me through it.
So what you can see right off the surface, this is a magic action RPG.
Yeah.
What we see here is the Mage in action. This is a solo mission. This is actually a solo mission called an Ordeal, which is a much more sort of gamified, quicker mission than, say, a full-scale instant story mission.
Okay.
So this is something you just pop into to compare it to something like a Rift or something, just get in there.
Look
You see
at that
you've got
cool
a
ability.
You've got a time limit up there in the upper left. So we've got 4 different relics to cleanse within the span of 10 minutes.
Okay.
So here's the first one. We're coming to it. So at the end of this, we're going to get a boss to spawn, and what loot you get is going to be better if you do it all in time. If you don't do it all in time, you get less stuff.
Okay. Do all characters float over the ground like that?
They do
No.
not. That's a signature of the Mage. And
Okay.
I want to get into that, and we want to get into the deck also. These are 2 different things. So your class and deck are separate entities.
Okay.
The Mage is a ranged character who has different sort of abilities like better crowd control inherently. So you might want to use those cards with him, stuff like that. He's sort of, if you're a fan of Magic, he's sort of the blue template class. That doesn't mean you got to use blue cards at all.
No.
But you're free to do so if you want to.
He also has kind of a vanish ability where he'll go translucent and be able to get out of big mobs, which saved my life a few times.
Yeah, so every class has a sort of a mobility or escape ability. His is awesome. It sets a doppelganger of him out and lets him move freely and attack freely from the shadows. Very powerful in PvP, we discovered.
Right.
And so we're using a blue-white deck. As you can see down in the lower right corner, these are controller controls. Each one's mapped to a phase button. Super handy for using that. You've got 4 spells to draw from at any given time, and a deck is 12 spells, so you make this before you come into the mission. And it's a combination of creatures and spells. This one, so for clarity here, this is B-roll that has been provided by Cryptic Studios. This isn't actually us playing.
Okay.
But it's the same experience that we had. We did get to play in this area with these same spells and characters. This one seems to be, he's got a good mix of creatures and spells, so it's not heavy in either direction. And as you can see, we're protecting this relic. And as we do this, we're obviously going to fight a bunch of stuff. The more you fight and the harder you destroy things, the harder the intensity level is going to get. From something called the Director, which is an AI system that creates progressively harder encounters for you.
You might remember it from Left 4 Dead.
Andy brought that up too, and we were just talking about this on the podcast. So it's going to try to make things more challenging. Tidal Wave is a great spell. A lot of fun.
Tidal Wave.
Kim likes the big spells with really big screen effects.
Yeah.
Whereas Leo and me, we gravitated in our play sessions toward more creature-oriented summoner decks.
As I do in any game where that's possible.
I love it. Yeah, there was this creature who hopefully we get to show off to you later in the month. Is called like one of the Thralls, which is a class of creature magic. There's this really disgusting looking one that we made. We just tried to get as big as possible. It was a ton of fun. You can read more about that in the cover story. You've got little quest objectives, as you can see on the right there. Those are bonuses. Just killing a bunch of zombies to get some extra loot.
So, Dan, you're clearly very familiar with Magic. Kim, Leo, are you guys big Magic heads?
No.
My fiance is, so I know
So, no.
stuff through him.
Okay.
so
like,
little.
does that hinder your ability to understand
Oh.
what's going on, or is it pretty much like, oh yeah, just aim your stuff at the bad guys?
Yeah, it's like
There
aim
you
your
go.
stuff at the bad guys,
Okay.
and also even creating a deck is everything's pretty simplistic. So even if you've never touched the card game at all, you'll be fine
Yeah.
to play this.
Yeah, if you did, maybe you'll recognize the
Yeah.
names faster because you're just going by the names in the lower right, pretty much. As far as like what that's going to do, you might have a better sense of it because they tried to keep that not 1-to-1, but
Yeah.
represented well.
A special shout out for them spelling judgment correctly.
Nobody does. I don't do it.
It's very often a trap.
Yeah.
It's
I
such a
choose
trap
not to.
word. I get caught up by it all the time.
Yeah. You can play multiplayer. We'll be showing that off later on. We got more gameplay going up the next few days.
So that's an Abyssal Fiend he's fighting there. So that means he's probably been doing pretty good on the intensity meter, killing a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
These guys are sort of like elite mobs that come out after you kill enough stuff. They offer better drops, more or less. And that changes from area to area. It's not always going to be an Abyssal Fiend or a Cabal Knight. Nice. There you go. So you got some loot. He just unlocked Earth Elemental. That's a cool spell, by the way. We're going to see that in a later video. Oh,
We got so much to tease here.
little foreshadowing. Yeah, there's so much to tease because there's actually so much to talk about. I know from just the initial comments that people have been posting, it's like, oh gosh, it's so simplistic. It's not. Lots of customization, lots of progression are available outside of just your 12-card deck. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of stuff to do there.
Yeah.
In terms of spell combinations and creature combinations, but there's a lot outside of that too in terms of character choices and character progression class.
We can't show the deck building menu, unfortunately. So let's paint a word picture, Tack.
So yeah, we can't show that because a lot of stuff, as it says in the bottom there, this is alpha footage, and the deck builder is also in alpha. But creating a deck is super easy, even if you're not into Magic. And if you are into Magic, bonus, like a lot of this stuff, you're gonna get to see a lot of locations and things that you may have not seen represented. They're just mentioned on a card. Like the island of Shiv really hasn't been represented in Magic at all. It's talked about a lot, but we're gonna get to go there.
Does that give you a thrill?
I think for Magic fans, that's definitely one of the cool things is being able to see.
I'm
see
asking about you.
cards in action. I enjoyed it.
There you
Okay,
go.
yes,
Awesome.
I enjoyed our time with it for what it was. We got a couple hours of hands on.
Yeah.
And it was cool. We are limited areas to explore, but definitely indicative of the full experience.
This all has a very distinct Diablo 3 vibe that I think is impossible to ignore.
Sure.
Other areas, do they feel and look a lot different?
I mean, there's no way this is definitely a game that's going to get compared to other ARPGs because it is one. So
Because it
for
looks
sure.
identical to it also.
Well, in this area, we're fighting
Yes.
typical fantasy creatures like ghouls and stuff like that, and so yeah, it's going to be similar.
You're talking about the setting.
I'm talking about the
Too.
setting and what looked like a waypoint and the style of trees and the broken fences.
Right.
So this area, again, it's got that more of an undead feel because we're fighting the Cabal in Benelia. So, and we go to other areas, yes, it will begin to differentiate itself.
Yeah.
As we start fighting stuff that you're not going to fight more in Diablo, like goblins and ogres and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, so hopefully in that new gameplay today, Cork,
Ah.
you'll get a different take on things. But yes, this is a traditional dark fantasy area,
Yes,
right?
yes.
I get that.
And on our podcast conversation that's up now, we do have different gameplay running under that too, so you can see a little different location there.
You should definitely check that out.
Oh, definitely.
I should check that out.
And come join us for the rest of the month as we talk about more, as we dive deep into this game at GameInformer.com.
Wow.
It's a good
Wow.
On
website.
brand.
It's a good website. I
For
like
you.
it.
Yeah. Do you know you work there too?
They tell me
Yeah.
that.
that's
They keep
very
telling me that, Leo.
So with the deck building, Kim, you said it was fairly simplistic. Dan, you said that you'll recognize things and locations from
Yeah.
if you play the
So-
cards. Is there the ability to set synergies and more
Yes, and that's even more enhanced in multiplayer where you can use your buffs and heals and stuff like that on other people's units. So if you just want to be hey, I want to make a big dumb green deck because I'm Dan,
I'm listening.
and just put giant, giant trees and beasts in there, go ahead.
Yeah.
Do it and have fun. If you want to do something a little bit more advanced, I want to raise the dead and sort of get a ton of units on the screen, a lot of little guys, and then buff them all up, you can do that too. And you want to make a deck that's just all nukes and damage spells,
Yes.
a red deck wins kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
Go nuts. You got lightning bolts, you got giant rocks, you got Kim. I'm gonna give you your chance here to plug your favorite spell.
Fire vortex. It's like a merry-go-round of fire, and they all get swept up. All the enemies near it get swept up into it, and you just see them going round and around and
Aw.
around. So it's I got very excited every time I put that down.
Yeah, it was a treat.
And so this is the boss, which we're taking out now for the juicy loot because we did finish in time. And look at there's a greater abyssal fiend out here too, so
Yeah.
this is going to be some additional loot.
The director's really working overtime here.
Now, the director kind of gets really frisky, especially with multiple players. We really taxed it. We tried that out in our time with it. We're all right, let's just make a deck that's just going to roll everything. And we all combined them and we just plowed things. And the director sent all kinds of stuff at us, which is pretty cool.
We had lots of things running at us on the screen. The screen was
And lots of
filled
our
with
things on the
enemies.
screen
Yeah.
destroying stuff, yeah.
Yeah, but the fact that you're working with a deck that you built, that makes it You know, a lot of mob-based games I find I can just zone out and not think about, but you kind of are a little bit more engaged here, which is what I
Yeah, and
appreciated most about it.
So you're combining your abilities with that stuff. And here we get this nice mission reward screen. So we've unlocked cards, and for the cards we already own, we're getting spell shards for to make them more powerful.
Very nice. Well, thanks for showing this off. We got, like you said, a couple more videos coming on the way.
Absolutely.
Be sure to come back for those.
Even tomorrow we'll have one.
What?
Wow.
All right, we'll come back tomorrow. Bye.
Gaming can be